Welcome to another edition of Arizona Living. Today we're going to talk to two transplants that moved to Arizona from California about culture shock. Stay tuned! So guys, you have been asking me for more transplant interviews. I did a survey and the majority of you wanted more transplant videos. So I'm here to serve you. So we have not one, but two transplants from the great state of California that moved right here to Gilbert, Arizona. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So that's Alex and Colleen. They traveled all the way here from Gilbert, Arizona. They drove for hours.
Yeah. Like more like 200 yards.
You gotta give the Zonies what they want, man.
Yeah. And let's make it clear, it's no longer the great state. It was the once great state, I guess.
Oh, whoa. Oh man, insulting California right off the bat. This is gonna be interesting. So Zonies, the new Bootleg Studio 2.0. I wanted to get two chairs. Cartoon Wife said no, get a love seat. So we have two lovebirds here. I ain't gonna fit in there with them. So we have the camera on a tripod with a swivel. So we're gonna go back and forth with the angles, all right?
Lovebirds? It's my wife.
So, Colleen, you emailed me. You were like, I got some ideas about culture shock. It's been a long time since I've done a video about culture shock, and it was one of my more popular videos. If I recall, that was the one that I made mention to the wall, and people went bananas, so I disabled comments. So let's not talk about the wall. So.
What wall?
But you sent me a whole list, so I have the list in front of me. Let's talk about, well, first off, before we get into that, tell me a little about yourselves. How long have you been here? Where'd you move from? How you like it?
There you go.
Well, obviously from California. Clearly there's a Northern California and Southern California. We are Northern California, which is the Bay Area, more specifically San Jose. So we are NorCal, right? There's always a thing about NorCal and SoCal people.
Yeah, I
Huge
like.
difference between the two.
Yeah, I don't like to say California anymore because when people hear that, they say, "Oh, LA, like Santa Monica," and I'm always like, "No, different land." So I like to just tell people we're basically from an hour away from San Francisco, and then they say,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay." So most people don't know San Jose though.
I'll say Bay Area. Most people know what the Bay Area is. But
Okay.
How long have you been here? Where'd you move?
Oh gosh, we've been here almost a year and a half now.
Yeah,
Since
that's
July,
right.
last
Year and a half.
July. And we couldn't afford to live there. Didn't have the 6-figure plus salary for each of us to be able to live there and sustain a life. So when we left last year in July, we were paying $2,600 for a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate.
an apartment was built in, I don't know, 1970.
Rewind. How much was this and how big was it?
$2,600 for a 2-bedroom apartment.
2-bedroom,
Like,
1 bathroom.
1 bath.
So we had a roommate, not
Yeah.
very fun when you're married, and we couldn't have a dog or do any of the things we really wanted, and I don't know how big it was. It wasn't that big.
Like, maybe you're under 800 square feet.
Something.
Maybe not less or something like that. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah, I mean, not just because we couldn't afford it, but, just change of scenery.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in the Bay Area all our lives.
Yeah.
And prior to moving to Arizona, we were looking at other states. We were considering, Oregon, Portland specifically. We were thinking about Austin. We thought about Vegas because we have family there. Her parents retired and moved to Florida 2 years ago, so we were like,
Hi, Mom
maybe
and
Florida.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we looked around.
Yeah, we looked around and considered some options and whatnot. And I really liked Oregon, but she's like, I don't want to deal with rain and snow all
Yeah,
year
I
round.
said no.
And then we loved Austin, Texas, but I didn't want to deal with
Texans?
Texans? I think it's Texans, I think. Austin, I love Austin. It was awesome.
We just liked knowing we would be closer to family.
Mhm.
It's just a quick trip over. We've been back several times, and we've even driven. So it's pretty close, and it's far enough away that we can sustain a life. And we got a house, so we're totally loving what we have now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, as far as we could never own a home in California anymore. I mean, you know, a home that was built in the 70s, 80s, they go for like $1.2 million now, you know, or minimum $1 million, you know. And it's like, why would I want to put, you know, $300,000 down on a house when that is the price of a home here? I'm like, let's move out. So bigger, better opportunities. I knew with my job I can relocate easily and find a job out here, and same with her, and
right.
Wasn't an issue when we moved out here. We actually signed our home without finding jobs first, which was a risk. But I knew, you know, I think we had pretty good chances of finding jobs as soon as we bought it.
So you guys had a house built? Is that what I hear you saying?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we had a house built. That's
First house.
First house, yeah. All the houses out here. I mean, the East Valley. It's all new development out here. I mean, the houses are huge. They're beautiful, and you know, you can't really do that anymore in California. Everything's pretty much built out. So whatever they build in California, it's just townhomes now. And
lots of townhomes in the neighborhood where we grew up. They were selling townhomes, and we went to see them before we moved. And how much were they going for?
minimum $950,000
$950,000
for a townhome.
Yeah. $950,000 for a freaking townhouse?
Yeah, for a townhouse.
A townhouse that's like your neighbor's here, and you're like right in the same building.
Yeah.
3 stories.
3 stories up.
3 stories up.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous out there.
Wow.
I have friends that work at Apple and Google, and they can't even afford to buy a house out there.
Holy shimoly. So why Arizona? Out of all 50 states, why Arizona?
Well, we have friends that live out here. Mm-hmm. A buddy of mine who lives in Queen Creek. For years, they moved out in 2012, and they were always trying to get us to move out here. I'm like, Arizona? I'm like, what the heck am I doing in Arizona?
First guys.
Yeah. Hi, first thing we thought of was like, it's too hot. Why would we want to move out to a desert? Yeah. But, you know, we visited here a few times, and last year we came here to visit them in March for spring break, spring training, baseball.
Yeah.
Go Giants.
That's fun.
We stayed at their house, and we were kind of driving around the neighborhoods in Gilbert, and we were just like, let's go check out some apartments. We saw some apartments that were going for like $1,100, and to us, that's like, whoa, that's dirt cheap.
That's free.
It's free. But it's funny, the salespeople there were like, oh yeah, it depends where you're from. You know, $1,100 is expensive to like some of the people from the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, this is cheap for us. Yeah. And so then we kept driving around the neighborhoods, and we saw a community that was
cute.
That was cute, and we liked what they had to offer and all that. And then we weren't able to check out the house. We went back to California, and I went onto their website, looked at their model homes and stuff, and saw their prices. I'm like, hey, let's consider this. So we did our research, and we talked to the salespeople, and then we coordinated to come out here, look at the model homes.
And that was it.
I mean, you know, we liked what we saw in Arizona. We visited Sedona. We liked that. The fact that we had friends out here. To me, the roads looked nice and clean. Everyone was friendly here. I think, like, thinking about California, everyone's just kind of like, I don't know, uptight and kind of.
It's a different lifestyle for sure, and I think it really helps when you know someone already. You have friends here, or you have an insider like you, Sam, or someone who knows, you know, what's going on around town and can give you a lot of information. That was really helpful to us. So our friends actually let us stay with them while our house was being built. So it worked out.
Yeah, we liked it. We liked it out here.
Yeah.
Of course, we visited in March when the weather was beautiful. It was great. So we didn't know what summer would be like. We've only heard stories about how hot it would be.
I think we came one year for summer, and I just remember we were just locked ourselves in the room with the air conditioner, and we were like, oh my gosh, it's so hot. And
Speaking of which, it's now mid-November. We're in the Bootleg Studio, which is directly above my garage. In the summertime, it would be scorching hot in here, which is, you know, we have a ceiling fan, which I keep off because it makes too much noise during these recordings. But the poor A-team, they came in here drenched because it was so freaking hot. But now I have the lights on. It's somewhat comfortable. I could use a fan, but it's somewhat comfortable. Now, I have to make mention, Alex, your sweatshirt. Let's talk about your sweatshirt.
Oh.
It says San Francisco love right there.
Yeah.
So you like San Fran?
Got love for San Francisco, for the Bay Area.
Oh yeah, we totally love it. It's just you can't live there. Like you visit, you know, and we would always drive up San Francisco or Oakland.
Yeah, if you thought $2,600 was expensive for an apartment, try San Francisco. You're looking at like a 1-bedroom loft for $3,000.
Yeah.
Bottom. A loft.
A loft. Yeah, it's crazy. So
it's a beautiful place to visit.
but it's a beautiful place to visit. We go there as often as we can.
We could, yeah.
We live in San Jose, which is about 45 minutes south of San Francisco, and our joke about San Jose is like the best thing about living in San Jose
Leaving San
is
Jose.
leaving San Jose, because we always go to like San Francisco, Santa Cruz, Napa. There's so many great things
All
to see in the Bay Area, you know.
Yeah.
So I'll always have a special place for the Bay Area in California.
Yep.
Just can't afford to live there anymore.
No, way too expensive. It sounds like Brooklyn prices.
Oh.
It's getting crazy in Brooklyn, the BK. So let's talk about culture shock. So you moved here and you realized it's not California. I have a whole list. Let's start off with beer culture, okay? What exactly is beer culture? See, I don't drink.
Yeah.
So what is beer culture? Or at least what's the difference between Arizona and California?
I think a lot of Arizonans, they love their beer out here, and so do I. I love beer.
Yep.
Is that what you have in there?
No. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, I have water. You want some water?
Yeah. Coffee culture too.
Tea.
I love coffee.
All right, I have water for you guys. What I'm saying right here.
So I'm good.
All right, good.
Thank you.
No problem.
Beer culture. I don't know. It's a growing community. There's a lot of craftsmen and breweries that are popping up. Not even just Arizona. There's a lot in California too.
They're just harder to find in California. You really have to go out and search. Nothing in San Jose was really small, and you have to go to
San Francisco,
towards
Oakland.
San
There's a lot of
Francisco.
breweries out there.
Yeah.
Even north, like Petaluma,
Mm-hmm.
like Lagunitas, they're all up there. Russian River.
But one of our favorite ones is in Chandler. That's Santan Brewing, and it's their dog-friendly patio. So we love to take our dog and we go outside and we sit, and it's just a really fun atmosphere. We've been up to Flagstaff. They have a great brewing and beer pub place, restaurant place, right?
Yeah.
Flagstaff Brewing Company, I think that was.
There's Lumberyard.
Oh,
I like the
Lumberyard.
Lumberyard. It's right across from Flagstaff Brewery.
So yeah, they're just all kind of sprinkled around. They're really close. They're super local. You go to the grocery store and you'll see all the brands that are for sale. So we love to support those small brands and buy them in the grocery stores and try them out because they're all so good. And the neighbors come over and they've got their favorites, so we kind of trade favorites, and it's just fun to kind of sample everyone's stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
The cool thing I like about the beer culture is that I always like to support local brands and companies and all that. So even when you're in California, I was always looking for local beers and breweries and all that. So same thing out here. So it's kind of fun to go check them out. Oso Brewery is another good one that's out here.
Downtown Gilbert.
Yep. Arizona Wilderness. They're good too.
There's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of good beers.
And
out
then
there.
there's festivals. The festivals they're coming up, I think, this month.
Oktoberfest, no?
And
Oktoberfest passed already.
Mesa does one in November that we went to last year.
Yep.
And it's just everywhere.
Santan Brewery has a festival.
Yeah, they're really fun.
Yeah, it's cool. I appreciate good beer.
So yeah, if you're a beer person, it's here.
Yeah, not getting drunk on beers or anything like that.
That leads us to drinking and driving in Arizona. Okay? There's a lot of drinking and driving incidents here. And a lot of old people that can't see or hear so good that get into car accidents. I've been into 2 car accidents. I'm a good driver. Neither was my fault. I've been in 2 since living here in Arizona. I know Colleen's been in at least 1.
I have. Earlier this year.
I didn't know you had.
Yeah, I got rear-ended on the 60 in January. It's a funny story because the guy with his big truck hit me in traffic, and then I was just like, I went to go pull off to the side, and then for some reason, I think he was trying to do a hit and run. He passed me up, and he kept going. I'm like, oh, hell no. So I chased him down, and I was tailgating him. Then he finally pulled off of the freeway, and then we pulled off to the side, and we exchanged numbers. And then we looked at each other's cars, and he was trying to tell me, oh, okay, well, let's your car is looking all right. I'm like, what are you talking about? Let's exchange insurance companies. And he's like, sure, why? I'm like, did you see the back of my car? He's like, your car looks fine. I walked up to the back. I'm like, really? My fender's all bashed in and this and that. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. And then we exchanged numbers and all that. So I'm like, really, dude? But yeah, some crazy drivers out here. That's a culture shock to me. It's like the people who drive out here. They drive
fast.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty crazy out here.
Yeah, I really try to stick to the right lane as often as possible, and I just let people go around me, and it tends to work fine. But yeah, people do like to drive fast, and they like to have their trucks and their Jeeps and their big cars and zoom down. So I just let them. I just try to get out of the way.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, California drivers are pretty bad too.
Yeah.
But I think they just don't know how to drive. California drivers, they're known for just like, oh gosh.
Weird things.
But out here, they just drive crazy.
They're confident.
They're very overconfident
Yeah.
drivers.
My chair creaks a lot. So you guys, this is a good segue. You guys mentioned dogs, so there was a brewery that allows dogs. Let's talk about dog culture. How is dog, I know you mentioned you have a dog, Mango. We did a whole video on her. What exactly is dog culture here in Arizona?
Me?
Yeah. I did the beer.
How's the dog scene?
The dog scene is awesome. We have, in Gilbert, we have a huge park, Cosmo Dog Park. It is nationally known, I believe, because it's got like a huge lake and there's like a little ramp where the dogs love to run and jump into the lake. Beautiful walkways, so we like to walk around. And then there are a lot of restaurants and things that have patios that they'll let you, and a lot of shopping stores as well that'll let you bring the dog inside. So to us, it's a lot more friendlier. We see a lot more going on with the dogs than we saw in the Bay Area.
I think because, Arizona, it's hot, so a lot of restaurants have outdoor seatings, outdoor patios, and so they welcome pets all the time. So, I mean, everywhere we go, they're all dog-friendly patios, and it's awesome because we bring our Greyhound with us all the time.
And the farmer's market has like a little dog bakery that you always see set up, and they make little homemade treats and stuff.
Yeah, even the farmers markets in California. There's one that we used to go to, and they don't allow dogs. But
No dogs are allowed at the markets there.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Very dog-friendly state.
Yeah.
We love it.
Mm-hmm.
And you see all types of dogs, especially huskies out here. For some reason, people love the
day.
huskies, and I've never seen so many huskies
In Arizona.
I swear. I've never seen more huskies, Great Danes, German Shepherds are huge out here too. So.
Really big, really hairy dogs out here.
Ironically, I've seen a lot of little dogs, like people carrying their little dogs with them, and they even have strollers for them. I've seen that whole thing.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot too. That's a lot. There's a lot of those in California. Little toy dogs.
Yeah, but I think there's just more space out here, and it's more open, so people like having their big dogs.
Yeah, I just don't get the husky thing.
So let's talk about coffee. What's the coffee scene here like besides freaking Starbucks?
Oh yeah, coffee scene's pretty good. There's a few that I like. There's one called Cartel Coffee. There's one across the street from my work that's really good. Again, it's just like the beer culture out here. The people love their coffee and they love good coffee. Everywhere you go here, you'll see some type of coffee shop that's not Starbucks. Like you have Dutch Brothers, there's Black Rock Coffee, there's some other local companies that I've never heard of. But people love their coffee out here. You'll see lines of people just like you go to the Dutch Brothers out here. I'm like, gosh, the line goes out of the parking lot. I think I saw a story once where there was a Dutch Brothers in Phoenix somewhere. They had to relocate because it was causing too much traffic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I think I saw a news segment about it.
I saw that.
Yeah, but they love their coffee out here.
I've had Dutch Brothers a few times. Now, I'm diabetic. I should not be having Dutch Brothers. Dutch Brothers has their signature drinks. It is sweet, 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 sweet. Crazy sweet drinks. Frankly, I don't think it's worth the wait. Every time I go, you got to wait a good 20, 25 minutes in the drive-thru to get your coffee. That's a little ridiculous in my opinion. Now, for you New Yorkers, yes, they have Dunkin' Donuts here, okay? Not on every corner like back in New York, but they definitely have Dunkin' Donuts here. So you guys are set up. So let's talk about grocery culture. All the different options we have here in Arizona.
Oh yeah, there's a lot,
And
there-
it's
we have
actually
of
changing a lot
favorites,
too. We've seen a lot changing recently because everyone's trying to be about the park and go option. So now all the grocery stores are putting in those stalls where you just drive your car up, they come out and they put the groceries in for you. We've never done it because we don't have a reason to not get out of the car. But I understand, right? You got like 4 kids in the back, or you've got like a baby sleeping, right? Like there's different reasons people want that, or it's summer or whatever. They're in a hurry. Like that's really popular right now. So all of the major stores are getting upgraded. But we prefer, I want to say Walmart, Sprouts, and Fry's as our top 3.
Top 3. And
Yeah.
then Trader Joe's just opened down the
Trader
street,
Joe's
which is awesome.
good.
And Winco. I love Winco.
And Winco.
Because we go there for their bulk items, and they have really good prices there.
Love Winco.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely like
Mhm.
you want to go and get a bunch of stuff, like heavy stuff and big bulky stuff.
Yeah.
We get our spices there. We like to do like bulk rice. It's cheap, super cheap.
Have you seen their coffee section in Winco?
I buy their coffee sometimes from their bulk section. It's
There's
pretty
like
cool.
over 100
Yeah.
things to choose from.
Oh
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their bulk section, they have tons of rice and gravy. You can go and get candy in their bulk sections and stuff. Everything's like...
I have to say that I think the most shocking thing for us was Walmart, because in the Bay Area, Walmart is like the thing you avoid. Like nobody wants to go there.
Yeah.
And here it's like the grocery store and everything all in one. It's super shiny and clean and everybody's super friendly and helpful. And then there's an app, so you put the app on your phone and then you can find everything you need like super quick.
What?
And then you can pay. So you,
Tell you what
use the-
aisle it's on.
They'll
and
tell you
everything.
exactly where it is, how much it costs, and then you can pay on your phone and you just scan at the little checkout scanner, and it's so easy.
Time out.
Yeah.
Time out. Time out. You're telling me there's an app for Walmart and it shows you which aisle your item is.
Oh yeah. It's pretty cool.
And it's per store. Like
Yes.
obviously
Oh, yeah.
every store
Yes.
is not exactly the same.
Mm-mm.
You can set your location on the app where you're from. Like
Does it show you moving as you're in the
No.
store?
no, I
No,
don't think
like a
so.
little ball?
That'd be pretty cool.
Whoa. Walmart, get on that.
Yeah, but no, like when you're in California, there aren't too many WalMarts. In fact, the WalMarts that you do find in California, where we're from, they're not in the greatest neighborhoods or whatnot. And not all of them are 24 hours. You come out here, man. There's a Walmart every corner wherever
Mhm.
you go.
All
There's a
24
Walmart.
hours.
2 miles from our house east, and then there's a Walmart 2 miles west. So I'm like, I like to go to one on Power. She likes to go to one
I'm
on
starting
Market.
to like the other one now, but yeah, they're so close and they're so
But we
clean.
love it because they're super Walmarts. You
They
can
are.
go and get your tires changed. You can get your glasses, prescription. They have Subways in there.
And
There's
then
a
your
bank
groceries.
in there. And then she talked about the app, which a lot of grocery stores now have an app, but the
True.
Walmart one is really
It's
good.
the easiest. Yeah.
Like we'll be in Walmart and be like, hey babe, where are the screwdrivers? I'm like, oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's aisle J25. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll meet you in J25. It's pretty cool.
2 things about Walmart. Number 1, I made a video once where I talked about how Walmart sold White Castle burgers, microwavable. And believe it or not, Walmart, the company, commented on my video. I couldn't believe it. Okay?
Wow.
For real. Number 2, I once took a business trip to Oakland and I forgot to bring t-shirts. So I had to make the trek to a Walmart. And it was scary. It was during the day and I was scared, okay? It was not dark outside and I was fearing for my life. So I get the whole Californians being a little scared of Walmart. I get it.
Oh yeah, Walmart's here, and I love to go into Walmart and just
Yep.
walk around in there. It's clean, everyone's friendly.
Yep.
There's someone out in the front that always waves and says hi to you when you're in there.
They always have
Not sponsored by
Purell
Walmart or
wipes.
anything, but
Like they've always got the wipes dispenser. It's always there. Like it's
Yeah.
just nice.
so besides Walmart, I mean, we have Costco. I mean, based on where we live in Gilbert, East Gilbert, man, you have everything within striking distance.
But-
Winco, Costco, Sprouts.
One
Bashes.
thing we don't, and he always wants, is Whole Foods.
Oh yeah, we don't have.
There's a Whole Foods. It's just not close.
It's not
in
close. It's in
Chandler.
Chandler.
Yeah,
they're
so-
in select areas.
20 minutes, but it's there. It's fine.
Yeah, I like Whole Foods for specific things, you know, but like their beer sections. If you ever go to Whole Foods, awesome.
I have a coworker who just tried Amazon Fresh.
Oh,
I have not tried that, but he loves it. So I'm gonna have to give that a shot.
Wow.
yeah. Another place that is here that we love is Total Wine.
Oh, yeah,
And
Total Wine's
they're
good.
like Bevmo's upper hand. Like
Oh yeah, and they even have like a cigar
We
section.
went-
Oh yeah. They even have wine tasting and whiskey tasting and all.
we
that.
went to a Bevmo and we asked them a question, and he said, "Go to Total Wine." They had it. We were
Yeah.
like, "You're not supposed to say that," but he was like, "It's true. They're better than we are."
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got this cool section we love with the beer, and you can mix and match. So you could get a can and you add 6 together, you make your own little 6-pack. So that's how we like to try new beers and find things that are new and weird. Like we like to do that and make our own little pack and take it home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sprouts is another. Sorry, Sprouts is another grocery store that I love. We used to go to Sprouts all the time in California.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that they're based in Arizona. So that's pretty cool. That the corporate office, and they started out in Arizona. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
So, Zonies, what my family does, we do Costco, as you know, every Sunday. You guys are always there to say hello. Sundays, Costco, be there. And also, in addition, we do Sprouts, because we don't always have to buy everything in freaking bulk. Now, I did a whole video on Winco, okay? I'll post a link above. Winco is great. It's like a Costco, but you don't need a membership, and you don't have to buy in bulk. And they have an awesome produce section. So if you're a vegan, you definitely want to check out Winco.
Yeah, the only thing about Winco is you can't use credit card. That's why it's considered cheap. It's the same as Costco, right?
Yeah,
But
and you have to bag your own groceries
You
too,
do.
I believe, right?
yeah, you bag your own,
So
but
that's how prices are
that's
cheaper.
right. And so we're also supposed to be getting an Aldi, right?
Yeah, and Aldi, I'm not too familiar with Aldi, but I heard good things about them.
We've heard a lot of
They're
good
in the
things.
East Coast or something.
Yeah.
I went to an old one
Oh, there you go.
in Jersey. I was so pissed. I keep hearing it's the best thing on earth, right? I go down the aisles, and it's real small. I get to the end, and I'm expecting her to put my stuff in a bag. There's no bags. They expect you to bring your own bag. And I'm like, well, you got a box? There's no boxes. I have to freaking make 3 trips back and forth to my freaking car. Seriously? You know, I get this whole environment thing at work. They gave us wooden forks and spoons. Wooden forks and spoons. It's gone a little too far, guys. So,
We bring our own wooden forks and spoons.
Yeah, we're those people. No, because we're from California, they ban plastic bags and all that. So wherever we go when we shop, we always bring our own reusable bags.
And I will say that's part of the shock here too.
Oh yeah, that's actually a shop. too.
Everything comes in plastic and styrofoam. And we're just like, wow, what is the deal, guys? Because there's no styrofoam in the Bay Area. There's hardly any plastic. Like, you've got to pay for that stuff. But people just adapt, you know? They figured it out and they're like, well, whatever, I'll just bring my own bag. So here it's like, we'll buy a case of beer that has a handle, and the guy will try to stick it in a plastic bag. And we're just like, no. No, we're fine. Like, we can carry it out. So yeah, the plastic bag thing is kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So we live in Gilbert, and there's tons of Mormon churches. So let's talk about church culture. What is that like? Because that's a concern for a lot of folks moving here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's you know, whatever your religion is, there's churches everywhere out here too. It's like Walmart. There's a church or school in every corner where we go. A majority of them are Mormon. What Jesus?
Church letters.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, we're Catholic, and so I mean, there's a few Catholic churches out here too that we've gone to. And,
Yeah, but we've also gone and just kind of tried out a couple different places. You know, one of our neighbors recommended the Grove, which is like a non-denominational, but, you know, I would call it Christian, because obviously they're reading from the Bible. So it's like, well, it's not non-denominational in my opinion, but that's just because in California, that means something totally different, right? Like, you might not have someone reading from a Bible because you could be using any other religious text. So Yeah, it's for us. I think it's the shock of like on Sundays, right? Sundays, everything is shut down. Like in the mornings, people are just at their services and it's busy. Like you have people that are just pouring into these church parking lots, and so traffic gets directed certain ways, and then it's pouring out of the parking lot when services are done. And then you'll go out to eat, like we'll go out to eat lunch on a Sunday, and you'll see like 10 people walk through the door all at once, and they're all dressed up. So you're like, oh, they just got out of church.
Yeah, church is huge here on Sunday, which is good for us because we like to do our shopping on Sunday. I guess so does Sam, I'm sure. You go on Sundays, I think, right to Costco.
Sundays, every Sunday we go to Costco. Times vary, but
yeah.
I've learned now to go past 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because then the lines die down. It's easier to find parking.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stores that, like she said, that aren't open on Sundays.
Right. Like the little custom soda shop right there by Costco.
Yeah. So Delicious, Chick-fil-A.
So Delicious, Chick-fil-A. There's a lot of local shops that just aren't open on Sundays. So do your homework for sure. If you're trying to go shopping on Sunday, do your homework. Make sure they're open or know the times that they're opening. And yeah, I'd say there's just a lot to choose from. So there's a lot of good communities out here for that. If that's what you're looking for, there's definitely a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys could hear the dogs barking. If you sponsors are watching, I'm open to doing a sponsorship deal for shock collars, okay? Send me your most powerful shock collar. I will film my dog getting thrown across the room, okay? Because these dogs do not shut up. I used to have shock collars. The shock collars don't work anymore. I need something more powerful. And yes, I know they could do surgery, remove their vocal cords, but that's mean. I'd rather shock them. So, Colleen thought that was funny.
Dogs are cute.
They know us now, but they still bark at us, and I was like,
They're barking right now for no reason.
When we would come and watch your dogs when you were on vacation, they were fine. They were very friendly.
yeah, but it took a while.
Rocco has an attitude. So you mentioned schools. There's a lot of churches and schools here. Let's talk about school culture, because that's a big concern for parents moving here.
Big thing here. Yeah. I'm probably gonna have to take this one. So since we moved here, I've had jobs at I want to say 4 different schools, 4 different districts, and they're all very different from one another. I think there's always that question, right, of like, are the schools good? Well, that really depends. Because number one, it's very public knowledge that Arizona is way down in the bottom, right? Like we are the 48th state as far as I know. We're still ranked 48th in education. And people always think, well, that's test scores, and that's not necessarily true. I read a lot of what ranks schools nationwide is funding. So Arizona hasn't been properly funded in that section since like the 50s or something. Like you just don't have enough per student that they're supposed to have to rank themselves higher. So that's a big problem. And there's still a teacher shortage. So what I find is that the problem is the people want these things, but the second that they're put on the ballot, they don't pass, because that means upping taxes, and they shoot those things down really quick. So I've seen several videos that talk about the shortage here, and that's the problem, is that people want them, but they shoot it down when it comes to voting it in there. And so I've worked in a private school, I've worked in public, and now I'm in a charter. So I feel like I've kind of got like the whole spectrum. Although the private school was specifically for kids with disabilities, and that was a really cool place if that's what you needed, that resources are here. I do know parents who have kids with disabilities, and they feel like the resources here are really good, and I agree with that. Public school is a whole other thing. I worked for 2 different districts, and they were very different, really different from one another. And I think the biggest problem facing the public schools right now is they are just growing. They are growing so fast. They're opening a new school every single year. Like there's a new elementary school, and now there's a new high school. Next year there's going to be a new elementary school again. So there's just so much growth that they cannot keep up. So they are short on teachers, they're short on resources, they're short on space, like they're just barely floating. And then where I'm at now is a charter school. They're kind of having the same problem because everybody wants to come to the charter school, which is very unique because here you can come to a charter school, it's free of charge, and everybody, it's basically open enrollment is what it is. So everybody can live in different cities and different areas, but you can bring your kids to a different school that's not in your neighborhood. So that creates problems too, because then everyone's coming out and flocking to these schools, and they're not necessarily the kids that are only in that neighborhood. So they're having that problem that everybody wants to be there, but they're at capacity.
So what is a charter school?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out myself. They're in California, don't get me wrong, but they're very, very rare. Mostly in California, you just saw public. Charter is still, it's a free system. So I think
But they
what
don't
it
get their
is
funding.
the funding, exactly.
It's
It's the
different.
funding
It's
is
not
not
government
coming
funding.
from the government, so you don't see school buses at charter schools. Charter schools need parents to drop off their kids and pick them up. So where I work, there's a huge line of cars where at the end of the day, parents are driving up, they're trying to organize it so that the kids get out safely and really efficiently. You don't get that in public, right? Public school is like the bell rings, boom, free for all. Everybody's out on the street, they're trying to find their parents, you know, the school buses are coming in, the parents are trying to drive in, so it's a whole other story. And I just think either way, what I've seen is that it can be where you go to a school that's supposed to be a good school, but if you have a teacher who maybe is new because there's a shortage, so you have this new person, right, who's trying to do this for the first time ever, you know, you can't hold that teacher to the expectations of a teacher who's done it 5 or 6 or 7 years in a row. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I think parents can put a lot of pressure on these situations where they come to these schools and they're like, well, this is an A-rated school, so I want to see this, this, and this happening. And it's just not happening because these poor teachers are just stressed and they're working ridiculously long hours and they just cannot keep up. Like, the demand is so high here.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the charter schools either, but there's a lot of debate on whether, you know, charter schools are better than the public schools.
Yeah.
There's, you know, people would argue about that, and some people would be like, well, there's a lot of shady things that go on with charter schools.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't know too much about it. If
Yeah,
you know,
they've made the news with
comment
some.
below if you know about charter schools.
There's some things that have made the news recently about where the funding was going, you know, charter schools, because what happens is they ask a lot of times, they ask parents for donations. So those donations roll in, but then the question is, well, where are they ending up? So that's been on the news. We've seen it where people were doing shady things with that funding.
So what do you guys think about Basis? Have you heard of Basis? You know about Basis?
I tried to apply to work there and they did not want me. So I don't know. It's
Basis?
Basis is a charter.
Oh.
Yeah. They're building, I want to say they're building another school because the one I interviewed at was like brand new. So it's very common here that the schools will be brand new, and then like I said, they're hurting for teachers, they're hurting for staff, and all the kids are flocking in because there's just so many kids and so many families here now.
Yeah, with the huge growth of Arizona population, man, there's a reason why there's so many schools that are starting to sprout up, because everyone's moving to Arizona and they're just trying to keep up with all the families that are, you know, it's pretty crazy.
So the last topic, talking about culture, and I know, Alex, you wanted to see a marathon. Snowbirds, okay? When the snowbirds come to town, for those of you that don't know what snowbirds are, I like to call them Q-tips. They're people with white hair and white sneakers, okay? Q-tips. When the Q-tips are in town, and they're here during the winter, when it's usually snowing where they live. And when they come here, traffic gets a lot worse. So what do you guys have to say about the snowbirds in Arizona?
Honestly, besides, I guess the hardest part for me is having to adjust with, like what he said, with the traffic, because the traffic does get worse with your commute to work. During the winter season and spring, my commute stretches to like an extra 15-20 minutes now because of of all the snowbirds that come here. Traffic gets worse. There's a lot of people say that because where they come from, the States, they're accustomed to driving the way they do, say in Florida, and then come out here, they're not used to that, so that causes them to either drive too slow or get into accidents, and that's what causes all the traffic and whatnot. But besides that, I have no problem. Snowbirds, they want to come here too because they want to get away from the bad weather from
Yeah,
where they come from.
Before we moved here and before my parents moved to Florida, I had never heard of this. I'm like, snowbird, like a penguin? Like, what are you talking about? So, yeah, it's a thing, and you will have to deal with it here.
Yeah.
You'll see all the license plates.
Oh, yeah,
I have a friend.
From Florida to
Yeah, I have a friend who
Minnesota
lives in Apache Junction, and she was at the parking lot one day of a Walmart, and she was like, I'm going to tell you all the license plates I see, and she was walking down and counted 14 out-of-state plates.
Yeah.
So you'll see them all over the place, and it's just part of the culture.
But they help the economy, so that's why I have no problem with them. They come here and they help with the economy, and they just want to enjoy the weather out here too while it's good.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them.
Why not?
But just need to drive a little better. That's all.
Just a little.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's everything I wanted to talk about with culture overall, because you mentioned it, everybody and their grandma is moving to Arizona, and a lot of comments I get, Sam, please stop making these videos, you're ruining the state, too many people are moving here, it's not like I remember when I was a kid. What do you guys have to say to people who live in California who are considering relocating here?
Do your research.
Yeah.
I did a lot of my research online. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. Hence Sam. That's how I knew about Sam. I did a search about Arizona. Know what you're getting into, and know what figure out what you want. Why do you want to move here, and what is it you're looking for? I mean, don't get me wrong. We live on the East Valley, and I love it out here in the Gilbert East Valley side. I can't imagine living on the West side, where it's it's a bit more, what's the word, outdated, less developed.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah. Or you can move up north, like Scottsdale, where if you got the money, you can live out in Scottsdale. But we love the East Valley because, we like the communities here. Everything's within striking distance.
And it's different.
It's all newly developed homes, and the roads are cleaner.
Yeah, because Mesa is not Gilbert, and Gilbert is not Chandler. Chandler is not Scottsdale, right? Scottsdale's not Queen Creek. So, you have all these different pockets. So you really do need to do your research. I honestly think the best thing is to visit. I know you've said that,
Yes.
Sam. I agree with you 100%. You need to visit, you need to see how it feels, and spend some time and really get to know, what each little city, each little pocket is about, because we love going to all those little areas, but it's for very specific reasons. So Mesa, they've got amazing culture there. They've got this amazing downtown area with this huge art museum building with the performance arts. We're really into that. So we love going to Mesa for that reason, but not necessarily Gilbert, right? Gilbert has a couple things here and there, but we favor Mesa when it comes to that. So, I don't know, there's just different things.
Depends. Yeah, it depends
You
on your
prefer-
lifestyle.
Well, you prefer Mesa over Gilbert?
When it comes to cultural.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
there's a lot here too, but there's way more in Mesa that you don't get here. So we just know, because we've been here now, we've done the research. So now we know, if we want something very specific, we know where to go to get it.
if you're young and you want to move to Arizona and you're a college student, you're still in your mid-20s. Tempe, because that's a huge college town. But that's not what we're into.
No.
But if I were to have some friends coming into town, I'd probably take them to Tempe.
Yeah.
Do some bar hopping here and there. I'd probably do the same thing in Scottsdale because of the nightlife and whatnot.
We had a great time in Tempe. We went out and we did a piano bar and live music there. Really fun. But do I want to live in Tempe?
No. If we're just strictly talking about where would you want to live, Gilbert is where it's at, I think, in my opinion, or even Queen Creek, because they're growing too. Some parts of Chandler still.
But yeah, it depends. If you're coming from a
depends.
big city, you're used to living in like a huge building, you know, with tons of people, Gilbert's not going to be your thing.
Yeah, Gilbert, I think, is really big on community. Like we said,
Is that me? Oh, okay. I'm like,
I'm popular.
Yeah, hello, telemarketer. No, but yeah, do your research. Also, whatever job you're in, know where the jobs are at. A lot of jobs are in Phoenix or Tempe or Scottsdale. So, do you want to commute an hour by living in Gilbert to go to Phoenix or something like that? Are you okay with that? Or you keep your commute like 10-15 minutes, then you might want to live somewhere closer to like Phoenix or something like that. It all depends.
Do your homework.
Yeah, do your research, do your homework. But overall, I'd have to say that the people here are friendly, much more friendlier here than in California. A little bit more laid back, except for the aggressive drivers. The food culture is strong here. Lots of great food, lots of great beer. Lots of things to do, and then there's lots of hiking and outdoor things that you can do. There's lots of farmers markets and events,
festivals.
Yeah,
we love all that, so it fits us perfectly.
And what she said, I recommend visiting twice, either in the winter or spring to see how it's like, because it's going to be beautiful from October all the way up until like early May. And then visit in summer, because you got to be like, well, you might fall in love during winter and spring and be like, oh, this is amazing. Yeah. And then summer hits you like you just got punched in the face. And you'd be like, what the heck is this? 110, 115 degree weather. So you got to see if you like that too. And if you can handle that, I recommend coming out here.
So you have no regrets. You're happy.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah. We met a lot of great people like Sam and our neighbors and whatnot.
It's fun to meet people here because everyone's kind of from somewhere else. So
yeah, that's another topic. The culture is that there's so many people from other states.
Yeah.
In conclusion, you guys are happy. You love it here. Yeah, you encourage other people to move here, even though it's going to cause more traffic.
Yeah, I do. I think it's great if you're looking for a change of scenery, a better quality of life, affordability, community. I think Arizona has it all. You just got to tough through the 4 months of bad weather, of extreme heat, which doesn't bother me because 5 days out of the week you're commuting to work and you're in an office all day or whatever. But
I'm not.
Unless you work outside, and that can be brutal. But we like it here a lot.
We like it a lot.
Yeah.
So I want to thank Alex and Colleen for being the very first guests in the brand new Bootleg Studio 2.0. Woo!
It's beautiful.
Look at that.
Man.
It's so great. It's better than a white sheet, okay, guys? So that concludes another edition of Arizona Living. Be sure to like, subscribe, let me know below. What do you think about culture in Arizona? Till next time! Go ahead, Alex.
Dun, 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 dun.